latest single, Back Together, was released in August. The album that will feature Back Together will be out early next year. Thrilled to have here on The Rich Eisen Show, in studio in the flesh, Robin Thicke. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Very well.
I am thrilled to have you here, man.
Thank you.
Big fan of your work.
Yours too. I've been watching you for years, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot. I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely.
So there's so many great stories that I know that you have about your connection with the world of sports, but none of them can top being babysat by Wayne Gretzky. Is that a true story? You were babysat by Wayne Gretzky?
You know, there's a brotherhood of Canadians, I think. And
Okay.
My dad is Canadian, and Wayne Gretzky, Canadian, of course. And they had made friends through his years on Edmonton, on the Oilers. And so he was staying in Los Angeles and staying at my dad's house. My dad happened to take my brother out of town for a 10-day trip. So Wayne and Janet were staying at the house and pretty much babysitting me. I was going to Joe Torre baseball camp every morning.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably, I had to get it right, but I assume it was 87, 88 that he got traded. So I was probably 10 or 11, somewhere around there. And so the phone rings at 7:30 in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to Joe Torre baseball camp on the bus, getting picked up. And the phone rings, and it's Bruce McNall. And Bruce says, Robin, I need you to wake up Wayne. And I said, I don't really want to do that. Can you just call back later? He said, no, you really need to wake him up.
The owner of the Los Angeles Kings.
Right, the owner of the Los Angeles Kings.
Is calling your house.
Right.
To say, wake up Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, so I answer the phone, and I go, and I'm like knocking on the door. I'm like, Wayne, the phone's for you. So I go to camp, I come home, and, you know, he's on the podium doing his press conference in Edmonton. And that was the day he got traded. Yeah, so I answered the call.
So the call to tell Wayne Gretzky you're now a member of the LA Kings.
Yes.
You technically were the one to pick up the phone.
I answered the phone. I was the operator who made the connection.
So, wow, that is...
Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I mean,
not
not for Edmonton fans, you know.
No, I know.
I think I'm like the Yoko Ono of, of hockey in Edmonton.
But you can't shoot the messenger, Robin. You can't shoot the messenger.
Exactly.
You just answer the phone. It's in your house,
Thank
for
you,
crying out
Rich.
loud.
Thank you.
You're just a little boy going off to Joe Torre camp.
I need you in Edmonton with me.
So, but what was Wayne like as a babysitter? Did he let you stay up
You know,
late?
He
couldn't tell you to go to bed? What type of
he
babysitter
was super
Wayne?
cool. We would play tennis, till late at night. And I remember one time, just because I'd never driven in a Rolls Royce before, he took me to McDonald's in his convertible Rolls Royce.
Through a drive-thru?
Through the drive-thru.
No way.
And I was like, this is pretty cool.
Just riding shotgun in a drive-thru.
Riding shotgun in the bed with
Did the person taking his order know that it was Gretzky, though? Did they stop? Or
I don't think this was because, remember, it wasn't until he moved to Los Angeles that LA hockey became a thing, you know, for the most part.
Sure.
You know? So I think not everybody recognizes him as much.
That is so funny. Robin Thicke joining me here at Robin Thicke on Twitter on The Rich Eisen Show. And now, of all the performances that you've had, have you ever done like a wedding or anything like that? Have you ever done anything like that?
Segue, you're leading me here.
I'm trying. Go for it, Robin.
No, my other cool, because I was telling them before I came out, I was like, I do have a couple cool sports stories. I'm obviously an enormous Michael Jordan fan.
Okay.
Grew up watching every one of his playoff games and had him on my wall, you know, with the dunk in the air. And so over the years, he became a fan of my music, and I was very honored to sing at his wedding. And I sang the first dance. And here I'm at the piano, and I'm playing and singing, and Michael's like singing all the words with his wife at the first dance. And I was like, this is surreal right now. This is too cool. He knew the words. He picked the songs.
Which song?
Well, I did 4 songs, and they were all like love songs that weren't even singles on the album. He picked, you know, album cuts.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty. That was my probably one of my coolest moments as a singer.
So how was Jordan's moves? How would you rate him as a dancer?
Not quite. It's not as good as his crossover.
Okay. So he chose the right profession.
I don't think we'll see him on Dancing with the Stars anytime soon.
I love it. Robin Thicke here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what was your position at the Joe Torre camp? What'd you play?
Well, I was a bad pitcher. I was accurate, but I didn't have any stuff. You know what I mean?
So you could throw strikes.
I could throw strikes, but if the other team could hit, we were in trouble.
That was a problem,
I might only get an inning and a half in. But then I ended up playing third base because even though I'm a little clumsy, I'm tough. You know, I can take the shots at third base.
You know about a hot corner every now and then.
I know about the hot corner.
I
yeah.
like it. Okay.
So I was always willing to do the dirty work for the team, whatever was needed.
So were you a Dodger fan growing up? Is that
Yeah,
what
huge Dodger fan. Well, my father would go to a lot of games, and he never misses the a celebrity all-star game that they throw. Oh, he plays in every year, and he calls me with his stats. I was 2 for 3. Had a little error in the third inning, but
that does. You sound like your dad already. By the way.
My dad's catered. Yes, Rich. I know Rich. Nobody quite talks like my dad.
So was he the one that had a throwdown knockout with Tony Danza at one of those events recently? Didn't Danza get into fisticuffs at some point?
Did they? Was there something legitimate about that?
I thought it might have been some sort of growing pains. Who's the boss? During this
rivalry. That's like Ohio State, Michigan. You don't know where that's going to end.
You never know. Well, you throw out the records when it comes to growing pains.
Exactly.
Versus, who's the boss.
They're both winners.
Right. I think we have a photograph. I'll describe it for the radio audience of you with Tommy Lasorda from back in the day. There you are, in like a blue V-neck.
And you know what's amazing about the circle of life? I heard you say the phrase circle of life.
Yes.
I don't know what you're referring to, but is it a Lion King reference?
No. It's Jim Harbaugh, a Michigan coach, was referring to a Lion King plot line for a life lesson for his team to fare well this week.
Got it. My keyboard player in my band, he's a huge 49er fan. And when he was coaching the Niners, we would call him Jim Yarbar. They give him a pirate name, you know. Arr, the Yarbar.
Sometimes it just works. It just works. You start talking pirate.
Especially when it's playoff time, you know, because we were rooting for the Seahawks while he was rooting for the Niners. And I came up with a fun song just to get it under his skin while the game was going on. It was a March on Lynch song. It was like March on, March on, March on, March on, March on, March on Lynch, March on, March on, March on, March on, March. And so when I met Marshawn Lynch, I sang that for him.
And what did he say?
He liked it. Yeah, we started hopping around together doing the Marshawn Lynch.
And then he started grabbing his groin and hopping into the end zone. Maybe that's.
He is one of the. We played basketball together, and he is one of the toughest human beings and strongest, fastest human beings I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He could barely get the layup in, but you could never stop him from getting to the hoop, no matter who you were. Nobody could stop him.
Robin, you're like the Forrest Gump of sports.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're like Wade Gretzky is your babysitter on the day that he gets traded. Michael Jordan gets married, you're singing for him. Well, Tommy Lasorda, we haven't even got just that photograph. You remember that photograph that we just showed?
Yes.
Was that his office? Because there's like autographed photographs of Kirk Douglas and Gregory Peck.
Well, that was when
they
still had more access to the dugouts.
Okay.
So they would have a lot of people come through all the time. Then they changed that, and they just had certain areas, you know, and they closed off the clubhouse because it got a little too crazy, I guess.
Yeah. And so you just met him and.
Well, my dad was friends with him. My dad went to a lot of events. My dad is a sports groupie. I mean, he's got a closet full of hockey sticks signed by Gordie Howe and Bobby Orr, and he's got memorabilia. He's got his name on every jersey that he's ever been to. So I kind of grew up in that household of idolizing athletes and sports of all kinds.
So let's talk about your new song. We talked about it for the TV audience, but Back Together. You have the floor about why you did this and what this is about. Robin.
It's just a fun song. I took a lot of time off last year. I've been pretty much working my butt off since I was 16, and always either making an album, promoting an album, or touring an album. And my son was 4 years old, and I'd been on the road for the first 4 years for half the time, So I just took the whole year off, and not the whole year, the whole half of last year. And then when I got back into working, I didn't have as many ideas writing yet. So I reached out to some other producers and writers I really respected, and Max Martin and Savin, the guys that do a lot of the big hits on the radio, they had this song Back Together, and I thought it was so catchy, and I was going through trying to get my life back together at the time, so it all kind of made sense and fit for me.
And there's an album that this is going to be on that'll be released early next year.
Yeah, the album I'm looking in the spring. Like I said, I've always kind of rushed everything. And so right now I've realized that there's no reason to rush, spend as much time with my kid and my friends and family, and make some music in the meantime.
And how old's your kid? How old is he?
5.
5 years old.
5. Haven't got, you know what, I got to say, haven't caught the sports bug yet. You know, not loving soccer.
Sure.
I think what's hard for him that I'm trying to figure out is if he's not great at it right away, he gets too frustrated. So is there advice? Do you guys have boys or kids?
I've got a 7 and a 4.5. What do you need? What do you need to know?
Well, what's the
Robin?
advice? Yeah, like if they get too frustrated too quickly, you just have to be patient with it. If
Oh, gosh,
because then they start to say, I don't like that sport.
Get down.
You know?
You got to go right. Yeah.
Eye level.
Eye level.
Got that.
And tell them, do it for daddy.
I love it. You know, it's funny. After the first few things didn't work, I went there, and he didn't. That helped. That worked a little better, actually.
Just keep going.
I said, can you just do this one? Just play soccer for an hour, please.
Does Joe Torre have a baseball camp?
I don't know anymore. I mean, it used to be out in the valley in the Encino area.
Is Paulina Gretzky the babysitter for you?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Hey, listen, Robin, this has been a blast. Thanks for coming on the show.
I've always been a fan of yours.
Likewise,
man. Nice to be here.
likewise. Thanks for
Nice to be
coming
here.
on. At
you.
Robin Thicke on Twitter, at Robin Thicke on Instagram. Congrats on the new single, Back Together. We look forward to the album. Come back anytime you want.
Thank you.
We'd love it, because I have a feeling we've just barely scratched the surface on the number of stories that you can tell.
Right. Well, you know, they come back as you recall.
Terrific. Robin Thicke is here. We're going to come back in 60 ticks the clock. Don't go anywhere. Back with more.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.